composition levy is the class. So now, so what is this composition levy is all about? Okay, in the earlier class we have learned about the various features of this GST, wherein we have come to know that GST rate should not exceed more than 20%, more than 40%, sorry. When you say 40%, who makes these rules? This is made by GST Council, which is under the chairmanship of President. Okay, who are the members? All the financial ministers for that. Okay, this the maximum limit is 40%, means it means that CGST will be 20% and basically SGST will be 20% on all the interstate supplies of goods and services. This is the common rules, and there are some products which are not the part of GST, namely they are petroleum crude, high speed diesel, motor spirit commonly known as petrol, and then natural gas and aviation turbine fuel. Okay, these things are all basically pre-documented by the council for the sake of this one. Under that, uh, these taxpayers are there, no, some are doing the business in crores of rupees. Crores means in hundreds of crores, big industries. There are some, those who pay the tax indirectly, that I am speaking. There are some small taxpayers or entrepreneurs, individual entrepreneurs, solo entrepreneurs, small partnership firm holders, whose business is not that big actually. Okay, they are very small taxpayers. For them, for those purpose, uh, there is a threshold limit for the taxpayers. Okay, say suppose as per the GST rules, no, small taxpayers having turnover up to 20 lakhs, okay, uh, in case of specified states, or 40 lakhs in case of taxpayers in exclusively engaged in supply of goods and goods. Okay, if someone is exclusively involved in supply of goods, then whose turnover is more than 40 lakh. Okay, 40 lakh or more than 40 lakh, and basically in some states it is been limited up to 20 lakhs also. Okay, if those people are being asked to register for the GST compulsorily. Okay, it doesn't mean that those who are having the turnover, aggregate turnover, what it is that I have told you later. Okay, even if this it will come here also later. Okay, but what happened is, even if you have a turnover less than that, even if you register, there is nothing wrong. But having more turnover, and if you don't register, then basically you will lose some of the benefits that you are going to get under GST. Okay, you, and basically you will lose the, what it is called as business link with other parties, which will be very friendly environment for you if you register for the GST. Okay, so we have seen under section 9 of 4 CGST Act central tax in respect of the supply of taxable goods and services, or both, who is not registered to a registered person shall be paid by such person on reverse charge basis as a recipient. Have you got this? If a person who is not registered, okay, if a supplier is a not registered, but the recipient is a registered person, in that case what happens, who will pay the tax there? Since the registered person is a recipient, his goods, his stock, his materials, his partially finished and finished goods are on track, and basically government will ask, from where did you get these materials? Though since that registered person is not in the web or web link of the government to catch him for the taxation purpose, since he is an unregistered person, they will catch the registered person who had received the goods from such persons, and he will be charged the tax based upon reverse charge basis as the recipient. This is a this is a provision under the section of 5 of 4 of IGST Act 2017. Okay. In case one guy is registered, if one guy is not registered, in such case this is going to happen. Okay. Under section 9 of 4, which has been amended, uh, the government, the amendment is like this: the government may, on the recommendation of the council, by notification specify a class of registered person who shall, in respect of the supply of supplied categories of goods and service, or both, from an unregistered supply, pay the tax on reverse charge basis as the recipient of such supply of goods and services, or both, and all the provisions of this act shall apply to such recipients. Okay, means if there are some people in the business area who are taking the goods from an unregistered person, and they have already what it is called agreed to pay the tax, okay, as a recipient in terms of reverse charge basis, such people's list will be separately published in the website, so that the unregistered suppliers can basically contact them if they have a material to basically sell to them directly. Because if they are doing one time business, it is not their regular business to get involved in the supply of the goods, but since they want a good price for them, they can supply under such conditions to a person who is in a regular basis. Okay. uh, but for the sake of, just simply because to enable the provision of supply under GST, he need not register if he is not into business. If it is just one time he is basically getting involved in that kind of supply of the goods. In such cases, there are people, there are businessmen who will take the goods from the unregistered businessmen also to enable the business and carry it further, and there will be a list for that. Okay. So you have to note here, reverse charge provisions would not be applicable if the aggregate value, if the value of basically the goods that you are supplying, no, is is less, is 5000 or less than 5000. This is applicable only when the goods that you are supplying to such kind of registered business people, if the aggregate value is 5000 and more than 5000, then only this reverse charge provision will come into being, or else it is not a problem. If the supplyable value is less than 5000, you can just scratch it off. That means if you don't want to show this thing in your book, in your books, no, accounts book, you can just take the goods on 2000 at each time, so that it is less than 5000, neither you are breaking the law, nor you are basically taking the advantage of hiding the tax also. But that doesn't basically, what happens is, it is only the booking technique which you can adopt, but in reality, every time you are taking a goods of 2000 and paying a transportation of around 500 or 600 rupees, that might basically add up and make your raw materials cost heavy. So these are some booking techniques which actually you can use it a small way of saving tax purpose. Okay. The next one is in section 9 of 5 of CST, if electronic commerce operator is liable to pay tax if electronic commerce operator does not have a physical presence in the taxable authority. Okay, this is very important concept. Say suppose for GST purpose, if you have a consultant, if that consultant doesn't have the registered office in the area or the territory where your what it is called GST taxing office is there, he is having a office outside that arena. In that purpose, in that sense, if the person for whom he is providing the service, if that guy fails, if that guy fails to pay the tax, that means it is the suvidha provider or tax service provider, that ECO, that is electronic commerce operator, will be liable to pay the tax. These are some of the what it is called small adjustment and understanding before you take up your clients for the sake of GST services, and then basically consider them whether you want him to be your client, or else you open a you open a small office there, physical office, just to enable that I know this guy is doing the business here. It is just an what it is called how to trap the person who is doing the business and trying to hide the this one, okay, what it is called tax. So these are some of the four conditions which are preliminary required. See, the taxing is there, no, levy of collection of tax. uh, See, this composition, this collection of tax is there, no, government had generally created two types. As I said, some taxpayers are small taxpayers, or their business are not of that what it is called huge amount, or they are not of large scale industries. If they come under small and medium scale industry, and basically their turnover is not more than 1 crore or 1.5 crore, such people are need to adopt, okay, to come under the scheme of composition level, okay, because this composition level provides you certain tax benefits for them. But you have to declare yourself that I am supposed, basically here there are some condition for you to be under composition level also. What are they? That we will see later. But the primary thing is your aggregate turnover should be less than should be less than 1 crore, and now it is been considered as 1.5 crores, okay. And in some east west what it is called as northeast countries, it is limited up to 75 lakhs, okay, and in some 1 crore, okay. So this is a how, this is a generic requirement for you to register yourself under the composition levy, okay. So this composition scheme, the for which this GOI, that is Government of India, provides a simplified and ease of doing business scheme for payment of taxes and filing returns to certain categories of taxable person. These are a separate category person who are in large amount, as we have seen in our what it is called as entrepreneurship development. Small scale industries constitutes more than 65% of our industries, okay, and they employ lot many people. They are the primary source of employment providers. So you, for that purpose, government wants to encourage them to do the business, though they are small in purpose, but their contribution is very large for the society. Hence what happens is, as such a taxable person is not required to maintain elaborate returns and filing detailed returns, okay. That's why they can go on a small or light version of GST, which is being called as composition levy, wherein he should have a turnover of 1.5 crores, okay. So if you look into this, who person who are eligible for composition level, here if you look into this diagram, you will come to know the composition level under the section 10 of CGST Act, okay. Suppose a person is into supply of service other than restaurant and outdoor catering. In this scheme, a person who is doing restaurant business and outdoor catering is doesn't come, okay, for the composition scheme. You have to remember, other than that, if you are supplying any other goods or services, if it is yes, okay, then uh, then option to pay the composition levy will not be applicable. That is, if you are taking a restaurant and outdoor, no, then if you are doing restaurant outdoor, if you say yes, then this composition levy does not apply. Other than that, other kind of business, then yes, you can come under the what it is called composition levy. And in that also, if the supply of goods is exempted from service, okay, if you are doing into the business of alcohol, if you are doing a business of tobacco, okay, these things are exempted from the GST, but you are into supply and goods, supply and service, goods and service of this one, if it is yes, then option to pay tax at composition levy will not be applicable. Means those goods which are exempted, no, if you are doing the supply of the such goods, then they won't come under composition level. If they are not, then it will come under composition levy. And the next condition is, after the production, say suppose you have got that unit in Karnataka, okay, you have to supply those goods within Karnataka itself. You are not supposed to do the business from this state to the other state. That is the third condition. If you are supplying the goods within the same state, that is interstate outward supplies of goods, okay, you are not undertaking, then it comes under composition level. Yes, if you are doing interstate supply of goods, means then it will not come under composition scheme, okay. Then if you are not, if you are just doing intrastate supplies, okay, intrastate means supplies within the state itself, they will not go from that demographic area of the taxing area, okay. If it is, say suppose if it is Karnataka, my goods will not go to Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Telangana or Maharashtra or far any far states. I am doing my business only in Karnataka. Such persons, and if they are registered under GST, they will come under the umbrella of composition levy, okay. And next condition is, if supply of goods is through ECO, okay, if it is through ECO, ECO means electronic computer operator. If the, if your business is if is not is through electronic computer operator, then composition levy is not applicable for it, okay. If you are doing it manually, then the person is eligible to opt for the what it is called composition levy, which should be less than 1.5 crore according to the present conditions. This document is a old one which states that it is up to 1 crore. Now it is been increased to 1.5 crores. So you should understand, this is a composition, is a special scheme for a small entrepreneurs who are working in the local market, and who basically are doing the goods which are not exempted from the GST, and basically who are not into restaurant and outdoor catering. These are the four conditions. If they satisfy, then they can pay the tax under composition scheme, okay. When the person comes under this composition scheme, generally the charges to be made, okay, prospectively, okay, this is from the day when actually it is been started, 15th November, okay. And basically, as you say, it is 1.5 crore till the last year notification. This year notification, I don't know, basically it might have gone to the 2 crores or so, but last year it was 1.5 crore. This is pakka. This year basically I haven't checked what is this one. Basically it should start from this what it is called May, March end, April start is the new turnover turning financial year for this year. One has to check here, okay. When you say the northeastern states, okay, for them the upper limit is only 1 crore rupees turnover business. What do you mean by northeastern states? The northeastern states, which are the states which are there? There are 9 states which comes under this. They are Arunachala Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim, Tripura, Himachal Pradesh. Okay. Now later in the year 2020, even Jammu Kashmir is also included into it. Since Jammu Kashmir, now it is broken down, earlier it was a state, it is broken down and made into union territories, but still the same composition rule, rule limit, threshold limit operations implemented there. Have you understood? Have you understood where and all this composition scheme is applicable? There is other special schemes which we will be taking later. This is a part of our syllabus for the composition level. In this composition level, what is there means basically aggregate turnover. What do you mean by this aggregate turnover? That is also very much important. You should basically get into the value of exported goods and services. Okay, when you say aggregated turnover, it includes exported goods and services as well as inward supplies on which the recipient is required to pay tax under reverse charge mechanism. These two, basically this one is there, no, inward mechanism, that is excluded. What is included? Only the value of the exported goods becomes a part of the turnover. Next is exempted goods and services, or both, which attracts nil rate of tax, wholly exempt from tax, and includes non-taxable supplies. These are the included into the aggregate, what it is called as aggregate turnover includes. What does it basically excludes? It excludes the tax amount of which has been taxed upon importing those goods or getting those goods under, if you pay for the central tax, state tax, SGST, union territory tax, all these amounts are excluded. You should remember this. Okay. Even if you pay the composition cash tax, which is implemented at the transaction table, okay, which is for the what it is called socially good purpose, such as education or some kind of social welfare related aspects, which will be very small percentage of tax is implemented over there, 1% or so. Okay, so for that purpose also amount what you have paid are excluded. But if you have basically used interstate supplies between distinct person having same PAN number, that is included under the aggregate turnover. Supply on own account and on behalf of the principal. This I have said, what is principal, what is the person who is receiving this one, distinct person, and what it is called as have made this what who is called as distinct person or inside person. Okay, this I have told you while telling the earlier chapter. So these transactions which comes under the left side are included under the calculation of aggregate turnovers, and those transactions which comes which are listed on the right side of the table are excluded. If you add this amount of the transaction, the aggregate what you get, if it is less than 1.5 crore of transaction, then your business comes under composition. See, to register for you to for you to request for the GST to register yourself under the composition, the last year aggregate turnover transaction should be less than 1.5 crore, then only the registration is valid. Okay, but while doing the business, okay, if luckily you get a good business transactions this year and the turnovers exceeds 1.5 crore, in that case there is a separate what it is called procedure under which you have to forgo the what it is called as the subsidiaries and the benefit that you are enjoying under composition level, and you come under a special scheme. Accordingly you will be taxed on the further transactions. If say suppose if you are already having a aggregate turnover more than 1.5 crores, okay, but this year due to bad market your business is less than 1.5 crore, and now you want to opt for the composition levy. That provision is also there in the GST, which while the annual turnover, when you are filing for the returns, there you can basically register yourself for the composition levy and take the required benefits that come for the small taxpayers. Have you understood how this composition levy works? This is only for the small taxpayers, that is a small businessman, okay, that is entrepreneurs, okay, those who do not have the firm, very big ones, a small shop level workers who have a turnover. It is a turnover of basically 1.5 crores, that comes at more than 40 lakhs, less than 1.5 crores comes under composition level. If you are less than 40 lakhs, you basically need not basically register for the GST. You can basically take it as a personal return basically, and then you can do your continue your business. I hope you have understood the upper threshold, lower threshold, and what comes under aggregate turnover, and how this composition scheme is been enabled for the small business holders. Okay, this is very much important. Okay, next we will see what are the other important points that are associated with this composition level. Okay, first is the turnover will be computed pan wise, means each and every person level. Pan means this pan is associated with your business account. Okay, what is pan? Permanent account number. The transaction that are happening for the business level are being considered for this purpose. Okay, the transaction which happens to the account of your shop or the business, no, there how much turnover is happening is taken into consideration. Second, the partner and partnership firm will have different PAN numbers. Thus, the turnover of the partner and partnership firm will not be aggregate. You have to remember this. Say suppose we have got a small unit and it is been started by 4 to 5 partners. The firm is a partnership firm. Okay, the company will have a transaction for its services and goods. Okay, but the partners will also have their own personal what it is called as bank accounts, and they will have a PAN number for them. Here the amount that is being transacted through the partner are not considered for the aggregate of the business turnover. It is only the partnership firm's accounts PAN number which are considered for the aggregate turnover, which you have to remember this very much clearly. And the third condition is if HUF means Hindu undivided family. In Hindu undivided family, there will be one guy who will be responsible for the transactions, that is Karta. Okay, and if Hindu undivided family or individual co-partner of the family whose different PAN numbers, who has a different PAN numbers, means say suppose the company registered as a Hindu undivided family, okay, wherein everybody basically puts, say see, if you are having a firm, okay, the family is not divided, but the firm is running under the your family's name, okay, but when the family distributes the dividends or basically extra shares, you will be part of those profits. Okay, so when the company is of this nature, it is called Hindu, but you will be, you as an individual person is a doctor, lawyer, engineer, and you will have your own separate income by being employed to someone, but the firm is an undivided Hindu family, ownership is there. In that case, it so happens the turnover of the karta of HUF in his individual capacity and turnover of the karta as a karta of HUF will not be an aggregate. Karta means the person who is heading the Hindu undivided family. Okay, his individual income is not associated with the firm. Okay, these two are two separate things. That's what, as I said, like the partnership firm, same thing applies for Hindu undivided family also, which you have to remember. Okay, because this distinction is very much necessary while doing the problems, because they will add these transactions in an consolidated fashion, which you have to separate them, which comes for the firm for the GST calculation purpose and which does not come for the GST purpose. The other transactions which comes under the individual capacity, they comes under individual income tax returns. Salary comes under income tax, okay, of the individual basis. There you have to consider, whereas the firms comes under a GST level. Okay, this you have to distinguish as per the as per the information given in the what it is called as uh, problem. Okay, this is how this will work. Next is, say suppose uh, supply of goods after completion of job work by a registered job work shall be treated as a supply of goods by the principal referred in section 143 of the CGST, and the value of such goods shall not be included in the aggregate turnover of the registered job work. It will be included in the turnover of the principal. Okay, this is very much important. Always it is associated to the firm, not with the individual piecework that is been given by certain job work person. Okay, person not entitled to levy the persons who are not entitled to levy the scheme, the list of them under different schemes are listed here, like engaged in the supply of services other than restaurant and outdoor catering. Okay, engaged in making any supply of goods which are not leviable to tax under the act, that is non taxable GST goods, then also this composition levy will not apply. Engaging in making interstate, if you are supplying the goods between two different states, then also you will not. The same thing what we have basically seen earlier in that flow chart, no, same thing he had put it here in words. Next is, there are certain conditions and restrictions for the composition levy. Basically I have listed here. Okay, now it is almost 10:51. So this much is enough. This restriction is there, no, these restrictions under composition levy and conditions for restrictions of composition levy, how it participates. These three topics which comes under the composition levy itself, we will see it in the next class. Okay, okay Shilpa, any doubts? Shilpa, understood? Sure. The restrictions and basically validity of the composition level, this we will take up in the next class. Okay, because it's already 10:55. Okay, what do you say, or do you want me to continue? Do you have the next class? Even if you have the next class, it is becoming a little bit discomfort for me, because there is no supply here and I am sweating like anything. My shirt has become completely wet. So, we will close it here and continue in the next class during the what it is called, these points we will take it further. Okay. Okay. So, I want you to answer this. Just 1 minute, I will come out of this slide. Please answer this. Yeah, Rupa, answer. Any doubts? Hmm? Please answer with your text message. Yeah, thank you. So, we will close it till here. The conditions associated with the composition levy will be continued in the next class. Okay, thanks. Thanks for everyone.